Hi guys, Cam Roberts here. We're walking you through the sales pipeline, showing you the different services when they're completed and the different services when they're booked. Now, when a service has been completed, it's very important that the sales people use the sales pipeline correctly and put those people into the relevant parts of the sales pipeline where that particular service has been completed. Now, what we're looking at here is the back end of the sales pipeline automation. So we've built a sales pipeline, and based on each stage move, automation may or may not happen. Okay, so depending on each individual stage, there may not be. Sometimes it's for tracking, so we just put these in for tracking. However, in other times, like these products, these services being completed, we're asking for a Google review. However, all of this is back-end automation that the salespeople will not use. I'll show you in a minute the front-end automation which salespeople live in each day, and that's how they operate, and the back-end supports their sales processes in the business and the way they run their customers through the business. So the back-end sales pipeline automation actually streamlines the sales process, automates some of those repetitive tasks in a business, and allows you to get on with business, do what you do really well, and that is serve your customers without having to worry about those repetitive tasks. But I just want to show you the back end. So we've got two parts of the back end. One is automating the sales pipeline and tracking people as they land in the back end campaign of the sales pipeline, and that is sending out the reminder sequences. So as the salespeople move people into the sales pipeline, when they book a service, because you've got 4 different types of services, we want that, and you don't have 4 different service bookings stages in a sales pipeline because it doesn't make sense. They're all a service, right? We just want to make sure that when people are booked in for a service, we fire that off with a tag, okay? So let's start with the back end first. Let's start with the finish line first. Let's say someone has completed a service. They've had the service completed. They've got their thing done, right? Well, they're going to get a Google review request email, which is this one, and all of this was taken from the copy done by our copywriters, right? So have a look at that, and then it's all been set up really nicely. Got all the details, subject lines, everything's all set up, and we've got the SMSs going out as well. So fully automated with the SMSs, everything's aligned with the copywriting that we've done. You can see here, this one relates to 4.2, 12-month cut and polish reminder, and all of these are in the right places in the sales pipeline. So these are the Google reviews, right? When a service has been completed, and these are the service booked. So as someone gets a service booked, what happens is we've got to make sure that the sales pipeline tags that contact. So in this particular case, service booked, right, is the category. Ceramic coating is the tag. So as that particular service is booked, your sales pipeline will just need to quickly, your salespeople will quickly need to just tag that contact. What that does is that it sets up an automated process to remind them, right? Service is booked, waits 11 months, and then tells them, hey, now's the time after 11 months to get back in and get some more work done. So those automated reminders are there, because it's been 11 months, now's the time to book your ceramic maintenance and top up, okay? And that's based on the services being booked. Now what we do is after 10 months, we also remove that tag, because otherwise if we don't remove the tag, then when someone rebooks back in their second year, the system won't fire off. So it's really important that the salespeople use the tags, but they won't have to remove the tags. The tag removal is done automatically by the system, and that's the great thing about using something like a smart behavior campaign like this, right? So it's all been built out. We've got the SMSs going as well, right? So everything's been automated. So it's going to be a really beneficial for streamlining your business. As I said, taking away those repetitive tasks in your business. So 4 different categories there: service book, cut and polish, same sort of thing. The reminders are in there, as you can see, depending on the copywriting that was done and supplied and approved. Then we've got service interior protection, and the last one, new van purchased. So it doesn't matter what the products are, they're all segmented. We've just got to make sure that the salespeople follow those up, right? And so what happens is when those tags are applied, so just make sure all the services are in here. So there's the last one there, cut and polish. So any of these services that are booked, and I'll just make sure there's no more there, right? So that's all of them. So anytime a service is booked, that's going to tag off a finish goal of people in this campaign. And just as a backup, it will also remove the 7 tags as well. But they were already removed. But again, it's just for backup. Okay, so we just want to make sure that there's a backup there just in case someone accidentally added the tag again. Okay, and that removes the tag, and that means next year when they come around again, your salespeople can apply that service tag and the whole thing will work nicely again, and the people can enter once again. Okay, so here we see the front end of the sales pipeline. This is where the salespeople will be using it. So if I select a contact, let's look for me if I've got a contact in there. Nope, so I'll create a new one. Cam test, work email. Okay, and just go save. Right, so that's the contact. You can give the deal a name, just new test. You can put a deal value on there depending on how much you think it's worth. Put some notes in there if you want. There's the deal. Okay, so now chem test is in this qualified area here. Now, if one of those things has been completed, see, PS, IP, HDR, as Cam gets that particular task completed, obviously you've got a few different sales pipelines stages here. So my recommendation would be that if we take this test here, and let's say that Cam's booked for this particular service here, right, sits in that until the service has been booked. But because the HDR has been booked, we've got to make sure that, as you book the service, you also tag the reminders. So in this particular case, you would make sure that you add a tag to this particular contact. Okay, so really important. Now, when we look at the contact, if we go to that particular contact there, just look at the tag under here, and then we add the service booked. So if we look for service, right, let's say it's high gloss restoration, and then add that to Cam. Now, what's going to happen is it took less than 30 seconds to do that. Cam's going to be added to that particular campaign at the back end, okay? And then from here, we can go back to the sales pipeline. And you could also click back to the sales pipeline from that particular contact as well, right? Now, once Cam has that particular service done, it's been completed, obviously you can move them over to wherever you want them to go next. And then what's going to happen is Cam's going to get that Google reminder, automated Google review reminder sent out automatically as well, because he's been completed there. Now, obviously, you can leave them there, but I like to, obviously delete the stage once it's done if you want, because they might come back and do another one next year. But that's okay. See, it says if you delete this deal, all of the history and notes will disappear, but don't worry, it won't affect the associated contacts. That's why I always recommend making all the notes in the contact and not the deal. But it's entirely up to each business, because what happens is if you've got repeat customers that flow through your sales pipeline, you can certainly leave the deal stage in here. But if they come back every year or every 6 months, then there's duplicate deals for the same person. So my recommendation is to just, once this has been completed, have someone come through at the end of every month, just as a best practice, go through all your end stages in the sales pipeline and just go, okay, this he's had that done. I can see that, it was done over a month ago. Time to delete this deal. And you go, great, delete. Deal deleted. You would know by a month that's passed that they would have got their Google reviews reminders already, right? And away you go. Next time Cameron comes in, restart the whole process, book him in again, apply the right tags, and away you go. So that's it. Let me know if you've got any questions about sales pipeline automation, or how to streamline your business.